A storm raged outside the window as Sarah sat at her desk, staring at the glowing screen in front of her. The relentless tapping of rain against the glass seemed to match the pounding in her head. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, unsure of what to write, as a fog of exhaustion clouded her thoughts. The weight of her decisions, the consequences of her choices, pressed heavily on her chest. She felt like she was sinking, each passing moment dragging her further into a pit of uncertainty. Welcome to Exceedingly Fruitful, where you'll hear the most captivating and relatable stories that will change your perspective on life. If you want more content like this, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to show your support. Thank you. Just 2 years ago, Sarah had been on top of the world. As the CEO of a thriving tech company, she had made decisions that shaped the future of the industry. Her team had once admired her drive, her ambition, and her unyielding belief that they could change the world. But now, the company was teetering on the edge of collapse. There were layoffs, declining revenues, and a sense of failure that had taken root in every corner of the office. And Sarah could feel the weight of it all, crushing her from the inside. She glanced out the window, watching the storm rage, reflecting on how she had gotten to this point. The meteoric rise of her career had been filled with excitement, a sense of purpose, and a belief that she was invincible. The company had started in a small office with just a few employees, but her vision had propelled them forward. It had been hard work, long hours, and a constant battle against the odds. But they had made it. Or at least, that's what she had thought. Now, as she stared at the screen, she realized that somewhere along the way, she had lost herself. In her pursuit of success, she had sacrificed everything: her family, her health, and the very things that had once made her passionate about her work. The company had become her entire life. It had consumed her. And in the process, she had let the most important relationships slip away. Her phone buzzed on the desk, snapping her out of her thoughts. It was a text from her younger brother, Adam. "Hey, I know things are tough right now. Just remember, you don't have to do this alone. We're all here for you." A tear slid down her cheek as she read the message. Adam had always been a rock, even when she hadn't been there for him. He was the one person who still believed in her, even when she had lost faith in herself. And yet, she had pushed him and everyone else away. She had been so consumed with her work that she hadn't even noticed how much her relationships had started to erode. Wiping the tear from her cheek, Sarah took a deep breath and composed herself. The storm outside still raged, but the pounding rain no longer felt like it was closing in around her. She wasn't alone. She had people who cared for her. And it was time to remember who she was, beyond the title of CEO. Before she could reflect any longer, her office door opened. It was Lisa, the company's CFO, and one of the few people Sarah still trusted. She had been Sarah's right hand for years, and despite the recent strain between them, Lisa had stuck around. Her loyalty was unwavering, and Sarah could feel the weight of her concern as Lisa stepped into the room. "We need to talk," Lisa said, her voice steady but laced with worry. "We've been ignoring the numbers for too long. The company's in trouble, Sarah. You've been burning the candle at both ends, and it's starting to show." Sarah felt the weight of Lisa's words like a punch to the gut. She had known this was coming. The layoffs had been a last-ditch effort to save the company, but they hadn't been enough. Now, the reality was sinking in. She could lose everything. The company, her employees, the vision she had built from the ground up. "I know," Sarah whispered, her voice hoarse. "But what can I do? I've tried everything. We're at the edge." Lisa walked over to Sarah's desk and placed a hand on her shoulder. "You're not alone in this, Sarah, but you need to make a decision. We can't keep going like this. We need to cut costs, restructure, and maybe even let some people go. But there's still time to turn things around." The words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of their implications. Sarah could feel the tears welling up again, but this time, she held them back. She had to stay strong. She couldn't afford to break down now. "I've been so focused on this company, on being successful, that I've forgotten everything else," Sarah admitted, her voice trembling. "I've neglected my team, my family, and even myself. I pushed everyone away." Lisa's eyes softened. "I get it, Sarah. I know what it's like to put everything into your work, but you can't do it all alone. You need to rely on the people who care about you, and you need to let them help." Sarah looked up at Lisa, her mind racing with the enormity of the decisions ahead. "But what if I fail? What if I can't save the company?" Lisa gave her a reassuring smile. "You don't have to do this by yourself. But the first step is realizing that you can't carry this weight alone. You've built something incredible, and I believe in you. We can figure this out together." For the first time in months, Sarah felt a glimmer of hope. The path ahead would be difficult, but with Lisa's support and the strength of her team, she knew she could rebuild. She had to. The weight of success had almost crushed her, but now she saw it for what it was, a journey, not a destination. And she was ready to face it, not alone, but alongside those who had always believed in her. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt overwhelmed by the weight of responsibility? What was the turning point for you? In times of struggle, who do you turn to for support? Share your thoughts with us, and remember, success is not about going it alone, but about building a community that lifts you up when you need it most.